Weight matchup. Bologna right now is the heavyweight. They come into this matchup undefeated, 3 wins, no losses. Also winning each game in dominating fashion, all by double digits. An average of 25 points in their victories. Meanwhile, the away side, as we take a look at the matchups today in Group D, obviously this game will be the first one, and all the other 6 teams will be in action as well. So we'll keep you posted on today's action. Meanwhile, Bologna, as they get warmed up here at home, will look to continue the winning ways. Meanwhile, for medi Bayreuth, a chance to pick up their first victory of the young season. So far, it's been a tough 3 tests for Bayreuth. They, as you take a look at the standings, they are at the bottom alongside Petro Olympia. There is one big difference between them and Olympia. Bayreuth only losing their games by a combined total of 17 points. So they've been in each game. Each game has been close, just haven't been able to find that magic winning formula. And they will have a tough test tonight here in Italy as Bologna look to protect their home floor. Once again, it's game day 4 of 14 in the Basketball Champions League. Every game comes with a lot of magnitude. You see there the referees, the officials getting ready for today's matchup. Meanwhile, the big man, Dimic, still warming up. But for Bayreuth, we're going to keep an eye out on a couple of players. Hassan Martin, the young 22-year-old, had a double-double last week, 11 points, 11 rebounds. And he scored over 11 points in all 3 games, so he has been consistent for them. Another player to look out for, Adonis Thomas, averaging 13 points per game to lead this team in scoring. Meanwhile, you see there Bologna, they have a number of players that are very dangerous. Most notably, Kevin Punter, the 6'3" shooting guard. You see him there, number 0. Comes in averaging close to 19 points per game. But he's also got a lot of help with Amath Mbai, number 24, David Cornu, 25. And the big man, Brian Qualley, won't be in today's game. But those are 3 teammates scoring 11-plus points per game. We also saw the debut last week from Gora Kamora, number 33, the 17-year-old big man, made an impact off the bench for this Bologna side. And now we're just moments away from the players' introductions. And we'll start with the German side, led by coach Raul Korner. This is a German side that only features 5 German players. They've also got 5 American players, so good international representation. Adonis Thomas out of Memphis State, the 6'8" small forward, 13 points per game, 4 rebounds. Bastian Dorat, the veteran point guard who is more of a distributor. And you see there Steve Okowski, number 14, played for Telecom Baskets Bonn most recently. And of course, Gregor Horvat, who was over at Petro Olympia, the Slovenian, had a breakout game last week to bring his average up to 9 points per game as he struggled the first couple of matchups. And now we'll head over to the home side, Virtus Bologna. The aforementioned Kevin Punter, again, 19 points per game, the guard out of Tennessee. There you see Kelvin Martin, who does a little bit of everything off the bench for the Italian side. Tony Taylor, the 6-foot starting point guard. You might recognize him from his Banvit days. Alessandro Capoletti, the backup point guard as well. Pietro Aradori, who very aggressive always. And there is a look at Amath Mbai, the French international, who has really been a playmaker for this team. 6'9", does a little bit of everything. They're led by coach Stefano Sacripanti. You see him there shaking hands with the opposite team. And we're just a few moments away now from the opening tip. These Italian fans, a lot of them traveled last week over to Ljubljana for that game against Petro Olympia, where They dominated the entire time. Meanwhile, the referees for today's action, Johan Hosso, the Turkish official Yener Yilmaz, and Serbian referee Sasha Maricic. And Johan Hosso from France. So we'll see if Bologna chooses to pull out the same starting five as last week. Again, dominated against Petro Olympia, came out with a 92-61 win. Meanwhile, the starting five for Bayreuth, Adonis Thomas, David Stockton, Hassan Martin, Gregor Horvat, and Damon Brooks. So all non-German players there for medi Bayreuth. Of course, David Stockton, the son, the legendary point guard John Stockton. David Stockton, who has also represented Team USA at the FIBA level during the World Cup qualifiers. And there you see Coach Raul Corner, who will be doing whatever he needs to do to get this team their first victory of the Basketball Champions League season. Meanwhile, for Bologna, starting five, we can expect Kevin Punter to be in there. Tony Taylor usually starts in the backcourt alongside him, and they usually go with Aradori at the wing. Mbai will likely get the starting five, and see Coach Corner having some last-minute words with Damon Brooks. Brooks, who comes in averaging 11.5 points per game, the player out of Davidson. Meanwhile, the starting five for Bologna, Kevin Punter, Tony Taylor, as we mentioned, Dejan Kravic getting the start tonight, Pietro Aradori, and Amath Mbai. So Kravic, who played well last week, has played about 20 minutes per game and been very productive in those 20 minutes. 9 points, close to 4 rebounds per, as you see Coach Sacripanti. This is a Bologna team who has had a great start in the Basketball Champions League. So far in the Italian League, just 2 wins, 2 losses. They're coming off a loss against Vanoli just over the weekend on Sunday. Meanwhile, Kevin Punter, who has been lights out so far this season for Bologna, comes in shooting 50% from 3, 51% overall. And of course, since they've been dominating games, he hasn't had to play in the fourth quarter too many games. So you can expect that scoring average would be higher with more minutes. But in my estimation, Amath Mbai is really the catalyst to this team's success. The 6'9" forward averages 11 points, almost 5 rebounds, and 2 steals per game. Now also able to hit the outside shot, does a little bit of everything. Very active, both offensively and defensively. Meanwhile, despite Bayreuth's record of 0-3, they've got some healthy contributions from a number of guys. We'll see if Cassius Robertson can come off the bench, provide some outside shooting. He's averaging 63% from beyond the arc so far. Just 5 points per game, however. Coach Sacripanti and Kevin Punter discussing some last-minute strategies. So this will be the third game that medi Bayreuth plays against an Italian side in the Basketball Champions League, and they lost to Venezia last year on their home court. So just moments away now from the opening tip, as it looks like Kelvin Martin will jump. And that's Hassan Martin. So, opening possession in the hands of Tony Taylor. We're underway here in Bologna. The home side in white, medi Bayreuth in black. Kevin punter over to medi. We're seeing some pressure, man-to-man defense here from Bayreuth. And the first possession leads to a turnover. Tony Taylor looking for Kravic inside, and players are not on the same page. So good defense there from Bayreuth. And we're seeing now the backcourt pressure from Bologna. A little full court man-to-man, big screen there in the backcourt from Hassan Martin. Sets another one as Horvat feeds it over to Hassan Martin. Here's David Stockton, number 9, with the ball now. Little UCLA screen from Martin inside. And the big lefty gets the jump hook to fall for the first 2 points of the night. So a positive start here for Bayreuth. Meanwhile, Taylor looking for Aragori. Aragori now drives baseline, pull up. First bucket is good for him. And we're tied up at 2. So Pietro Aragori, who has been very consistent with his play thus far. Hasn't shot the ball well, but Hassan Martin almost got the up and under the fall on the reverse side. And here comes punter back the other way. Aragori again, looking for room to shoot. Medi now, looking to post up on Horvat. Little fadeaway jump shot is good. And now Medi's on the board with his first 2. And again, we said Medi, definitely one of the focal points as Stockton drives baseline, and tough finish from David Stockton. So both teams with a bright start. So far, 4-4 after just 2 minutes. Wow, Taylor just runs over Stockton. Nice ball movement, punter, corner 3, in and out. And we have a whistle on the baseline. It looks like the foul's gonna go against David Stockton or Hassan Martin. It's gonna be on David Stockton, battling for rebounding position. Coach Corner receiving the explanation from the referees. Taylor will inbound. Here's Medi. Medi getting a screen from Taylor, wide open underneath. Looks to go to work on Brooks. Tough little fadeaway, no good. Stockton the rebound, outlets it over to Horvat. Little crossover. Oh, good room, but a good closeout there from punter to deflect the ball out of bounds. So still 15 seconds on the shot clock. Stockton looking to turn the corner. Nice feed inside, and Hassan Martin challenged at the rim by Kravic. Maintains possession, nearly throws it away. Here's Brooks, spins inside, and he can't finish the lay-in. Tip drill, ends up in the hands of Aragori. And the fans appreciate the defensive hustle for Bologna as Aragori looks to back down. And there's gonna be a foul there on Adonis Thomas. So the fans very appreciative there of the hustle as you see Aragori go right at Thomas. And you saw that reach there with the right hand. Second team foul on Bayreuth. Punter has to throw it up, and the ball taken away by Martin. Here comes Thomas. Little crossover, tough transition, jump shot is short. So both teams starting to play pretty fast pace. Here's punter. Goes right at Brooks, draws a foul and one opportunity. And Kevin Punter, who is a dynamic scorer, gets on the board here in the first quarter. Goes right at Brooks. You see the reach there from Horvat. Doesn't really constitute help side defense, but Punter will head to the free throw line for the three-point play. And he does just that. So Kevin Punter with his first 3 points. And again, Punter has scored an average of 18.7 points per game so far this season. He's also scored over 18 points in 14 of the 23 BCL games he's played. played in. Nice backdoor cut. Horvath swatted away by Mbai. Goes up again, can't finish, but Hassan Martin's there for the putback. So good defense initially from Bologna. Hassan Martin standing with the play. Now Taylor looking to post up Stockton. And it's going to be a second foul on Stockton. He seems quite perplexed. Thought he was playing legitimate defense, but he'll head to the bench now. We'll take another look here. You see the right hand and the forearm as well. So Tony Taylor, who doesn't have much of a height advantage, just 1 inch on Stockton, but was able to draw the foul. Here's Aradori. Gets inside, swatted away by Martin. Kravic nearly got the putback. And we have another foul on Bayreuth. You can see now, from here on out, in the next 6 minutes, Bologna will be in the bonus as Aradori gets to the lane. First block cleaned by Martin, but then Adonis Thomas picks up his second foul. So already 2 players in foul trouble for Bayreuth. Meanwhile, Kravic will head to the free throw line. The one-handed free throw for Kravic falls. Unorthodox technique from the big man, but he does come in shooting 57% from the free throw line, and he knocks down the 2 here. Once again, the backcourt pressure. You see Punter, who's not just an offensive player, putting the ball pressure on Robertson, who's just checked into the game. Here's Horvath. And Dorith over to Brooks. Tough runner. Short. Rebound Taylor. Bologna looking to run. Taylor a little in and out. Left hand, no good. Kravic gets the putback tip in. And once again, Bologna showing why they are one of the leading scoring teams in this competition at 88 points per game. As the baseline drive by Martin, no help side. Not a white jersey in sight in the lane. And now Hassan Martin gets his 3rd field goal. 6 points now for Martin. Aradori will step back 3, just short, and Kravic yet again, right place, and the one-handed tip. So Kravic with 6 points already, and we're gonna have a foul off the ball. Looks like it's gonna be called on Taylor. Or they're gonna fix the shot clock, it seems. So the shot clock wasn't properly reset. Meanwhile, Tony Taylor checks out of the game, replaced by Padrola. So Alessandro Padrola getting the first point guard off the bench role. Usually that goes to Alessandro Capelletti. Meanwhile, right after checking to the game, Padrola picks up his first foul as Andreas Seifert, was rolling to the basket. So the big man recently checking into the game will look to provide the first bench points for Bayreuth. And he knocks down that first free throw. So Seifert, who comes in averaging just 4 points per game, does shoot 75% from the free throw line. And it's 2 points for the 6'10" German. So Punter playing a little point guard now. Over to Padrola. Here's Aradori again. He gets a lot of touches in the offense, this Aradori. And turns it over. Brooks comes back the other way, goes right down to the rim and finishes. Nice strong finish there from Damon Brooks. And once again, Bayreuth showing why they've been able to stay in every game. Mbaye thought about the three. Some good defense here from Robertson, but he gets called for the foul, which will send Mbaye to the free throw line. So first foul there on Cassius Robertson. If you take another look at that steal and coast-to-coast layup from Damon Brooks. Goes right at punter. Nice spin move there to get away from Mbaye. So Horvat will come out of the game. And again, Horvat coming off his best game last week, 16 points. But hasn't been able to make an impact thus far here tonight. Meanwhile, Mbaye goes 2 for 2 from the line. Give him 4 points on the night. More backcourt pressure here for Bologna. They look to trap. Near travel from Brooks. And they just get the ball over half court. Seyforth inside to Brooks, and foul will be called. Looks like it's going to be on Baldi-Rossi. So just a second team foul for Bologna. And Mbaye will come out replaced by Kravic. They set a few screens there for Seyforth inside. Little lefty hook shot is good. And good impact off the bench so far for Seyforth. Here's Aradori again. Gets around all the way to the cup. Tough finish there for Aradori. Once again, we've seen the ball in his hands quite a lot. Here's Robertson. Can't quite handle it. Punter all over him. Brooks hands it off to Dorith. Nice pick and pop. And a three-pointer long that time from Damon Brooks. And another foul. So more free throws to come for Bologna. Punter with the quick throw ahead. You see here. And as Meisner is looking to get back on defense, we're taking a look at the Aradori layup. So Meisner picks up his first foul. So Aradori calmly sinks the first free throw. Two for two. So far, Bologna still perfect from the free throw line. Also checking in is number 25, David Cornu. Another electric guard here for Bologna. They have so many weapons. And once again, it's Seyforth with another finish. So 6 points off the bench in the first quarter for Seyforth. A little 2-2-1 press now for Bayreuth. Look to trap at half court. Pedrola able to get the ball away, and Bayreuth falls back into a 2-3 zone. Some confusion from the players. And they leave Baldi-Rossi open for three. He can't finish. Rebound over to Seyforth. Numbers. Here's Brooks inside and one. Tough finish there in transition for Damon Brooks. The second time he's been able to get out into the open floor. You see the nice pass there from Bastian Doret. Pedrola looking to slow down with the swipe. Believes he got all ball, but Still a strong finish from Brooks. So the 6'8" power forward will head to the free throw line as Pajola comes out of the game. And Brooks knocks down the free throw once again. We'll see Bayreuth go to this 2-2-1 press. Taylor, nice pass fake. And Bologna will now initiate their offense. Taylor looks to go in and out. Lost control over to Cornu. He gets inside. Tough lefty finish, no good. Brooks comes away with the rebound. Another chance to run, but it's taken away by Aradori. It's a 4-on-2 now. Baldi Rossi, corner three. In and out. And the ball seemed to have been knocked out of bounds off of Bayreuth, but they will keep possession. So it's a 19-19 game here. As you see the Bologna fans on their feet, they likely will be on their feet for the majority of the game as Kelvin Martin, number 1, checks in for the first time. Here's Doret, another turnover. Oh, collision, and it ends up with Meisner taking and missing a 3. So fortunately, no one hurt on that collision. Taylor back in now at point guard. Gets the screen from Kravic. Gets into the lane, takes the bump, no foul called. A lot of contact there. And a foul in the backcourt on Cornu. So you see here Cornu just trying to slow down the fast break. Meanwhile, Sacripanti asking for an explanation. So Taylor pestering Doret here in the backcourt. Over to Robertson. Has some space. Little step back jumper, too strong. Rebound Baldi Rossi. So Bologna with the chance to regain the lead here in the final minute of the first quarter. And Cornu over to Taylor. Shot clock at 5. It's Baldi Rossi. He has to put it up. Martin at the buzzer, too strong. And it's another stop for Bayreuth. So they'll get a chance now to end the first quarter with the lead, their first lead. But to get inside. Oh, nice poke away from Martin. Robertson just smartly throws it off Martin. So 2 seconds on the shot clock, 5 seconds on the game clock. Should be just enough time for Bayreuth to get a desperation shot off. And they're going to bring in Steve Wachowski. So once again, 2.7 seconds on the shot clock. It's Robertson. Oh, gets Cornu off his feet, no good. And at the end of the first quarter, it's a 19-19 score here in this Group D matchup. So again, after one, Bologna 19, Bayreuth 19. And again, we knew that the records coming in were polar opposites. As we take a look at the stats, Bologna is 0 for 5 from 3. Neither team knocking down the 3. Free throws have been the difference for Bologna. Meanwhile, Bayreuth doing more of their damage inside. But despite the records, 3-0 for Bologna, 0-3 for Bayreuth, we knew that Bayreuth was a very competitive team. This German side has only lost those 3 games by combined 17 points. You take a look at the first basket of the game, Hassan Martin, who has been very productive, 6 points already. Meanwhile, Aradori got things cooking for Bologna. It was a quiet first quarter by Kevin punter standards, just 3 points. Off that field goal. They had that one major block, though, from Mbaye. But Hassan Martin, so far, the game's leading scorer alongside Dejan Kravic. They both have 6, as well as Aradori has 6. And Kravic just doing a good job running the floor as a big man. You see there again, Kravic, who shoots his free throws with one hand and gets offensive rebounds with one hand as well. Meanwhile, Damon Brooks, who took a little time to get going, playing the most minutes for this Bayreuth team, does have 4 points. And of course, that and one by Brooks was the reason this game is now tied at 19. So, second quarter action underway. Horvat back in, as well as Hassan Martin, joined by Meisner, Wakalski, and Doreth. Here's Wakalski, gets into the lane, little ball fake, throws it away, and a turnover on the first possession of the second quarter for Bayreuth. So we'll see if David Cornu can get going. The 6'2" Italian guard, averaging 11 points per game off the bench. He's alongside Taylor. Baldi Rossi with a nice pass inside to Kelvin Martin. What a feed from Baldi Rossi. Caught the defense sleeping. And Kelvin Martin, his first basket here tonight. Meanwhile, we've seen both teams execute a version of a full court press. And that now means that the shot clock under 10 as Bayreuth gets to their offense. Hassan Martin, another missed layup inside. Cornu looking to run. Goes right at Wakalski, but pulls it back. Taylor inside to Baldi Rossi, has a mismatch. Good ball movement. Martin, nice pass to Kravic. Great offensive execution there for Bologna. Unselfish play and patient offense leads to the timeout for Bayreuth. So 4 quick points in the first minute here of the second quarter. So we'll see if Coach Corner can get the troops refocused. Meanwhile, the fans, this is one of the toughest places to play in the Basketball Champions League. Take another look at that. Great. Usually you're taught not to pass after you jump, but when your big man's that wide open underneath the basket, you got to feed it to him. As I was saying, the Paladosa here in Bologna, very tough place to play. These fans will be making noise all night, and Coach Corner has to make sure his team doesn't get too caught up in the atmosphere. So again, this backcourt pressure hasn't led to too many turnovers for Bayreuth, but there's one right there as Cornu picks to pocket him, Donis Thomas, and gets the easy 2. So that's exactly why you see the press. Uncontested lay-in for Cornu. And Bologna, 6-0 run now in the second quarter. Tough shot here for Thomas. No good. Rebound taken away by Kelvin Martin. Again, Martin just 6'5", but plays much bigger. There's Kravic inside now. Looking to back down over Thomas, couldn't finish. Cornu, Baldi Rossi, can he get it going? Not this time. And Kravic knocks the ball to the backcourt. No backcourt violation called. ball was tipped back. So, oh, we see here the handles from Tony Taylor. Shot clock down to 1. Three-pointer no good. Hassan Martin skies up for the defensive rebound. And you look, Brooks inside has a mismatch. And Taylor will get called for the reach. So we'll take another look here. Cornu anticipating that spin move by Thomas. And gets the easy 2. So we're going to have another substitution as Kravic comes out. And for the first time, we're going to see Gora Kamara, 17-year-old big man out of Senegal. Oh, the double screen action. Here's Horvat looking for his first basket, kicks it out. And Dorith, who's not really looking to shoot. Meanwhile, a little high-low, Thomas on the block. Great double team. And Thomas airballs it. So another good defensive possession there for Bologna. And Bayreuth still yet to score here in the second quarter. Here's Cornu. Baldi Rossi thought about giving it to Kamara. That should be a blocking foul. And they're going to call I think a technical on Horvat for the flop. Yep, that's the flopping motion. So technical free throw as Horvat kind of accentuated that contact. It's a tough call. You see the referee explaining that that's not a natural bodily reaction when that level of contact is delivered. So Horvat will come out of the game, replaced by Cassius Robertson. Meanwhile, Cornu heads to the free throw line. And he can't hit the bonus free throw. So the score will stay 25-19. Horvat, formerly of Petro Olympia. His former team is 0-3. His new team is 0-3. But we'll see if they can turn things around. Still plenty of time here. Meanwhile, Martin looking to attack, gets into the lane, changes hands and can't finish. Brooks comes away with the rebound. Here's Thomas now, who's been very quiet. Over to Robertson, catch and shoot 3 in the corner is good for Cassius Robertson. And that three-pointer is cash money for his first basket. So finally, a three-pointer falls here tonight. It's the first 3 of the game. Meanwhile, Cornu gets double teamed, able to get the ball away. Kamara posting up, Hunter back in. Baldi Rossi, another double team, extra pass. Martin has to hoist it up. No good. Offensive rebound, kick back to Cornu. His three-pointer literally goes around the rim every way you could. Martin can't get the putback. And Kamara slaps the ball out of bounds. So unlucky sequence of events there for Bologna, as you'll see this ball take a number of bounces and then rolls in and out. Meanwhile, Cornu will come out. We haven't seen Mbai in a little while. So 25-22 here, as you see Mbai checking into the game. As I mentioned, he is one of the engines to this Italian side. You got to appreciate here the sweepers, making sure the players are safe. So Bologna shooting just 9 of 25 so far, 36%, which is significantly below their average. They come into the game statistically at about 41%. Oh, sorry, it's 50%. They actually shoot 50% from the field. So struggling here tonight so far. Meanwhile, punter gets called for the reach on Stockton. So you see punter going for the steal. Stockton, obviously a very heads-up point guard. Some things are just genetic. Here's Thomas now. And Martin can't get the lay-in to fall. So another empty possession for Bayreuth. Still just one field goal here in the second quarter. The Robertson 3. Meanwhile, a little two-man action between Mbai and Taylor. Nice spin move. Tough finish, no good. Mbai looking to go to the reverse side. Probably had the dunk on the strong side. So you see Mbai, good challenge there from Thomas. Made him alter the shot. So Adadori back in. Meanwhile, Bayreuth gets a 2. And Robertson, now making his presence felt here in the second quarter, has all 5 points for Bayreuth. Taylor gets inside, takes off, strong finish right over Damon Brooks. So Tony Taylor with the aggressive move to the basket. Meanwhile, Stockton able to draw another foul while handling the ball. But Tony Taylor with his first basket of the night. As we take another look here at Martin reaching in. We'll take another look at that Taylor aggressive drive. Good verticality on defense there from Brooks. Taylor finishing through the contact. So here is Brooks on the baseline, fumbles the ball in the spin move. A turnover numbers now. Punter, transition 3, swish! Kevin Punter so dangerous on that three-point line. Knocks down the first three-pointer of the night for Bologna. And now a little bit of momentum for the Italian side. You see there the three-point numbers just 1 of 9. Nice feed inside. Martin goes back to his left and finishes again. Hassan Martin, who just loves to seal his man underneath the rim, then just turns and scores. Very fundamental. As we see a little zone look now defensively for Bayreuth. And Mbai shows just how you bust the zone. It's a long 2 though, not a 3. Toes were on the line. Six-point advantage now for Bologna. Here's Brooks going at Martin. Oh, what a block! And then the putback no good. And the third opportunity is Mbai. You see the little trash talking. Both all players enjoying themselves. Realistically, some good defense as well, some good hustle for Bayreuth. And all the players are drawing. You gotta love the initial contests, and the referee's doing a good job of keeping this one under control. So we'll take another look here. Brooks spins off Martin, and then is met by Mbai at the rim. Mbai almost got the second block cleanly too, but was given the foul. So cooler heads prevail. And Brooks unable to hit the free throw. Fans really enjoying that. So 1 for 2 for Brooks. And it's now a 5-point game. Taylor hands it over to Punter. Looking to get another one. Can't finish this time. Kravich, the offensive rebound. Mbai goes baseline. Good defense from Brooks to cut him off. Punter, crossover. Tough shot again. Kravich keeps it alive again, but it ends up in the rebound for Brooks. Here comes Stockton back for Bayreuth. Crossover, gets into the lane. Somehow finds Thomas. And Adonis Thomas short on his three-pointer. Another rebound from Martin. Steal from Aradori. Bologna pushing the tempo. The ball is deflected out of bounds. No, it's lost out of bounds by Taylor. So turnover. It's just the fourth turnover, for Bologna. Meanwhile, Bayreuth with 5 turnovers. So both teams not doing too bad of a job taking care of the ball, but neither team able to find the rhythm offensively, as they both shoot under 40% here so far. Here's Dorith over to Robertson. Looking for the nice lob pass inside. Dorith, three-point in the corner. He can't finish it. So good inside-out offense, but Bayreuth unable to convert. Here's Taylor. Oh, good series of crossovers, and by for 3. He can't hit it, and Taylor slaps it out. Shot clock resets to 14. Fans are making noise yet again. Punter. Shot clock under 5. Here's Mbai. Has a mismatch. Extra pass. Aradori for 3. Just nothing falling for either team right now. Both teams combined just 2 of 17 from 3. "90 seconds left here in the first half. It's been a defensive battle and a nice finish again, Seifert. So Seifert now leads his team in scoring. Well, sorry, never mind. He's got 6 points on 3 of 3 shooting. Seifert with 8 points, because he did have those 2 free throws. Meanwhile, Punter has to put it up. Shot clock expires, and that's not the best shot you can get in the possession. Way beyond the arc. It's a 3-point game now. Bayreuth, a chance to cut into it. Nice pass, and it's going to be a goaltending violation. Beautiful find there from Brooks inside to Seifert. And Seifert now in double digits with 10 points. As we see, a nice cut of the baseline. Seifert gets the ball on the backboard before Kravish can swat it away. So 30 seconds left in the second quarter. It's a 1-point game. Aradori finds Hunter. Punter now. Punter gets into the lane. Nice floater, or runner, I should say, from Kevin Punter. He's now got 8 points on the game. Meanwhile, 5 on the game clock. It's Thomas. Little dancing, pull-up jumper, no good. And that's going to end a tough first half for Adonis Thomas, this team's leading scorer. Finds himself scoreless, 0 for 5 shooting. But at the half, it's Segafredo Virtus Bologna 34, medi Bayreuth 31 after 20 minutes of action. So again, Bayreuth can't be too displeased with their first half performance, especially defensively, as they limit Bologna to just 1 of 13 from 3. Meanwhile, Bologna has the rebounding advantage. Bayreuth doing a much better job sharing the ball. You see the assist difference. And finally, Bologna with 3 blocks. Both teams shooting pretty well from the free throw line, over 80%. Meanwhile, for Bologna, led in scoring, Kevin Punter, yet again, 8 points. They've also gotten some contributions off their bench from Kelvin Martin. Meanwhile, Hassan Martin has been one of the 2 main players so far for Bayreuth, as him and Seifert have led the way. Hassan Martin so far 8 points, 4 of 9 shooting, and 5 rebounds. Meanwhile, Andreas Seifert has he's listed at 8 points. Pretty sure he has 10 on 4 of 4 shooting from the field and 3 rebounds. So we'll take a look at some of the highlights of that first half. As Bologna was led in scoring, by both Kevin Punter and Dejan Kravic with 8 points apiece. Meanwhile, as you see there, Hassan Martin getting things going. Aladori and Mbai both with 6. So interesting first half of play if you think about it. Bayreuth coming in, tied at the bottom of Group D. No wins and 3 losses. I'm sure casual fans just expected them to come in here against a team that's been blowing out the rest of the competition by 25 points on average in the Bologna side, but so far they have not been able to create any separation from the German team. So the biggest lead in that first half for Bologna, just 6 points, despite a good hustle there from Kravic. Meanwhile, they did have a 2-0 lead, Bayreuth, and haven't led since. But the statistics so far, if you're Bayreuth, you're not too upset. You're only down 3 rebounds. You've scored 8 more points in the paint, and you've got 9 more points from your bench. Meanwhile, the shooting numbers also in favor of Bayreuth, 39 to 37%. Meanwhile, Bologna, a team that came into this game averaging 88 points per game thanks to plays like that, so far find themselves with just 34. So last week it was a case of, seemed like everyone for Bologna made a contribution when they came into the game. So far, everyone's been relatively lukewarm. No one's really found too much of a rhythm for Bologna. Except for Dejan Kravic, everyone else shooting below 50%. Kelvin Martin just 1 of 5, Kevin Punter 3 of 7, Tony Taylor 1 of 4, and Baldi Rossi 0 of 3, Aladori 2 of 5. Those are usually your go-to guys. Meanwhile, Mbai also 2 of 5 despite that long jumper. Meanwhile, for Bayreuth, their leading scorer, Adonis Thomas, 0 of 5 so far, no points. But fortunately, they've gotten a 4 for 4 explosion there from Andreas Seifert. Damon Brooks, number 24 for Bayreuth, also 2 of 6 for 6 points. So make sure you stay tuned. We'll be back shortly for the second half. Welcome back to the Paradossa here in Bologna, Italy. We are moments away from the second half of this Group D matchup, and it's been a close affair thus far. Virtus Bologna with just a 3-point advantage over Medi Bayreuth. And Coach Corner, you'd imagine quite pleased with his team's defensive performance in that first half, limiting this high-octane offense to just 34 points. But obviously still 20 minutes left for either Bologna to stay undefeated in the Basketball Champions League or for Bayreuth to pick up their first victory on the road here. Meanwhile, elsewhere in Group D at the moment, there is a close game as well at the half between Ostend and Petro Olympia. Petro Olympia looking for their first victory, currently up 40-39 on the road in Belgium, in Ostend. But here in Bologna, Hassan Martin has been the main energy provider, very aggressive on the boards. The Rhode Island power forward, small forward, kind of just a forward in general. 6'7", but he does play much bigger than his size. Came in averaging 12.6 rebounds per game, and he's on his way to replicating that here tonight. Meanwhile, what will we see in the second half from Bologna's leading scorer, Kevin Punter? He does have 8 so far, just taking 7 shots. We expect him to be very aggressive. You see him there under the basket. Bologna shooting 37% from the field, but more importantly, just 1 of 13 from 3. And that's 7.7%, which is not ideal, especially considering they came into this game shooting close to 40% from 3. Meanwhile, Medi Bayreuth shooting 39.4% in that first half. Not much better from 3, although they've attempted only 5 3-pointers, 1 of 5 for 20%. And Adat Mbai, who played at Oklahoma, did some college ball, is a French national. So once again, just moments away as the referees go collect the game ball. Meanwhile, the other team in this group so far to be undefeated, none other than Strasbourg and Prometheus Patras. So 2 teams currently in 3-0. However, as you know, those 2 teams will match up on in a couple of game days. Tomorrow, Besiktas will be on the road against Patras. Meanwhile, Strasbourg will be playing against Neptunus Klaipėda. Group D, one of the tougher honestly, every group in the Basketball Champions League is tough. And once again, for those who might not be as familiar, it's the 3rd season of the Basketball Champions League. This is the 4th game day out of 14. 32 teams contest in the regular season, and they'll play in 4 groups with 8 teams in each group. The 4 best-ranked teams from each group will advance to the playoffs. The 5th and 6th place finishers of each group will qualify for the FIBA Europe Cup playoffs, and the 7th and 8th place finishers will be eliminated. So you definitely want to be in your top 4 at the moment. The top 4 in Group D: Bologna, Strasbourg, Prometheus Patras, and Klaipėda. And here is Bologna now with the first possession. They go straight to Taylor inside on the block against Stockton. And a near turnover. Kravic blocked away there from Brooks. Ooh, collision. Hassan Martin seems to be okay. Collided with Donis Thomas. So here's Stockton now. Over to Martin. Little pick and pop. Horvat, long three, air ball. He went down looking to draw the foul. And Horvat still yet to get a basket here tonight. So both Horvat and Thomas scoreless in that first half. These were two guys who last week provided much of the scoring punches for this team. So Aladori, Kravic, Taylor, Baldy, Rossi, and punter as Mbai starting the second half on the bench. Here's Taylor. A little pull-up is good for two. And Tony Taylor gets his second field goal of the game. Here's Stockton inside. Good poke away from Kravic. Martin gets it back. Triple team. And Stockton takes the corner three and knocks it down. David Stockton showing the outside touch. That's his second field goal of the game. He's now got 5 points. Taylor, little kick out. Baldy Rossi can't finish. And Taylor ends up with the offensive rebound. And Baldy Rossi gives it away. And Horvat able to draw the unsportsmanlike. So Baldy Rossi adds insult to injury, compounds his mistake, throws the ball away, and then picks up an unsportsmanlike. And that's going to give free throws over to Horvat. So a chance now for the Slovenian shooter to get his first points here, perhaps. So the referee's taking another look to determine whether or not this was an unsportsmanlike foul. So they'll go to the replay monitor. You see Baldy Rossi acknowledging his mistake, can't do anything but smile. Raises his hand in an acknowledgement of his mistake. So we'll see if the referees decide to give the free throw. And it's going to be a unsportsmanlike foul and 2 free throws for Horvat. First free throw is good. 2 free throws are good. So here's David Stockton now. The game tied, 36-36. A chance for Bayreuth to get the lead here early in the second half. Shot clock under 5. Here's Horvat. Turns the corner, can't finish the lay-in, but guess who's there? Hassan Martin yet again. It's another putback, and that is now the 5th offensive rebound for Hassan Martin. And that's how he's been able to get those 10 points. Meanwhile, punter, free throw line jumper, short. Rebound goes out to Stockton. Bayreuth has the lead. Stockton gets it to the lane, contact, and numbers now for Bologna back the other way. Punter, transition 3, unable to connect. So Bologna seems a little bit rushed at the moment offensively. They've gotten open looks, but unable to knock them down. Meanwhile, Stockton, shot clock down to 2. Does he recognize it? Gets it to the lane, draws a foul as the shot clock expires, and we see a little extracurricular activity between Stockton and Tony Taylor. And Taylor will pick up the foul. So you see Stockton sees the shot clock under 1. Taylor gets called for the foul. You see Stockton kind of puts out his leg there. Yeah, we don't want to bring John Stockton into every conversation about his son, but that is one way that the legendary point guard was able to get under a lot of opponents' skin. Meanwhile, David Stockton at the free throw line connecting on the first. That was very reminiscent of the John Stockton-Gary Payton battles. Meanwhile, Stockton and Taylor going back and forth here. Stockton picking up full court. And it's a 4-point lead for Bayreuth on the road here in Bologna. So finally, Bologna facing a tough challenge. Again, all their games have been decided by double digits. Meanwhile, three-pointer is good for Tony Taylor, and that's how you respond. And of course, Taylor letting them know about it. So Taylor now picking up. Of course, David Stockton also playing his college ball at Gonzaga. Was also with the Utah Jazz last season. And it's a nice steal there from Kravic, anticipating the dump off from Horvat. And it's going to be a foul. Stockton on Taylor. Take another look here. The Taylor three. Uses the jab to create separation. Meanwhile, Kravic, that's why you keep your hands up defensively, picks up the 5th steal for Bologna. 3 fouls on Stockton. Little backdoor, it's going to be a 4th foul on Stockton. So Tony Taylor, David Stockton having a nice little battle here in the 3rd quarter. Obviously, Stockton has to be careful now, picking up 4 fouls. Still plenty of time left, and that's going to bring Bastian Dort off the bench. Oh, nice steal. Damon Brooks read that perfectly. Here's Adonis Thomas now. And he can't quite find Martin. Horvat stays with it. Sloppy possession here. Brooks pulls up from the elbow, no good. Martin crashes the glass, but 3 white jerseys converge. And punter will have the ball knocked out of bounds. Smart play there from Martin. So, a couple of turnovers on the last few possessions for Bologna. Fans still loud. Just over 15 minutes left here in the game as Horvat can't knock down the 3. Punter, another steal, or near steal, I should say. Baldi Rossi gets it back. He pulls up for 3 and knocks it down. Big shot there for Baldi Rossi. And Filippo Baldi Rossi finally knocks down a 3-pointer to give Bologna the lead back, his first points of the night. Meanwhile, you see Hassan Martin posting up on the block. Kravic knocks it away. Punter now. Well, 3-on-3. Aradori pulls up, baseline shot, no good. You see the net. Might have been a distraction. Thomas, can he get it going here in the second half? Pulls up to the elbow and finally knocks down his first 2 points. Adonis Thomas on the board. Took him 6 shots, but he ties this one up at 42. Fade Aradori Gets a nice screen from Kravic. Punter, little hesitation. And he comes right back with a 2 of his own. So timeout on the floor. As we'll take another look at that. Baldi Rossi 3, shot clock winding down. But Bologna regains the lead 44-42. Coach Corner wants to talk things over. Let's listen in. You see the game stats. Bologna now with 2 threes here in the third quarter. So Raul Corner is from Austria, just 44 years of age. This is his 3rd season coaching Medi Bayreuth. So again, backcourt pressure coming here from Bologna. Cassius Robertson will bring the ball up for Bayreuth, pressured by Aradori. And Robertson, his runner no good, rebound, Baldi Rossi. So we've had a couple substitutions into the game. Seifert back in. Also Kelvin Martin replaces Punter. Nice driving kick, Baldi Rossi, 2 in a row for him. Nice find from Tony Taylor. Able to break down the defense with a penetration and find the open man. And the 3-pointers are now starting to fall for Bologna. Lead is up to 5. The largest has been 6 as Martin gets the steal. Here comes Taylor again. Over to Baldi Rossi. Decides to pull it back out. Ball gets inside to Martin, spins away. And there's going to be a foul on Dorit. So once again, Kelvin Martin, 6'5", but plays like he's 6'10". Martin actually leads this Bologna team in rebounding off the bench. 5.3 rebounds, just ahead of Mbaye. Here's Kravic, shot clock down to 3. Tough shot, can't finish. Seifert gets the rebound but throws it away. And Kravic again can't finish. The tip in, good for Martin. And it's now the largest lead of the game for Bologna, +7. So the defense and the hustle, no backcourt there. See that pressure defense of Kelvin Martin all over Thomas. And it's a near turnover. Robertson gets into the lane. Nice lefty scoop for Cassius Robertson. And the Canisius product gets another 2 here in the second half. Baldi Rossi, a drift pass over. Oh, nice backdoor find. Baldi Rossi, the reverse lay-in. Good action there between Kravic and the big man. Oh, nice find. And Seifert will head to the free throw line. So Hassan Martin showing you the versatility. See the no-look dish inside to Seifert. Meanwhile, the pass of the game thus far, Kravic from his backside, finding Baldi Rossi with the backdoor cut. So Meisner also checking back in, number 17 for Bayreuth. Meanwhile, Seifert will look to stay perfect. He's 4 for 4 from the field, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. And of course, I jinxed him. Misses that free throw. Still a chance to get his 11th point, which would lead the way for Bayreuth. And should have been a lane violation, but they're going to count the free throw. So 6-point game. And Capelletti in the game for the first time, able to break through the press. So Alessandro Capelletti, number 9, going up against the zone now. Oh, nice backdoor cut. Too much passing, though, as Cornu was looking for Martin inside. And Horvat can't finish with the contact. Capelletti the rebound. Oh, good spin move over to Kelvin Martin, and he can't finish at the rim. Good transition defense that time from Bayreuth. Here's Meisner. Seifert kicks it out. Extra pass. Meisner for 3. Knocks it in. And he cuts this deficit in half. 51-48 in the last minute of the third quarter. And it's a turnover. Capelletti gives it away. Numbers now. Doret, he'll pull up for 3 and knocks it in to tie up the game. A quick 6-0 run. And we are now tied at 51. Coach Sacripanti can't believe it, as Capelletti just gave the ball away. 10 seconds left now. Here's Capelletti again, and he draws a foul. Bayreuth did have a foul to give, so Bastian Doret not really penalized for that one. We are going to be in for a thrilling finish for this upcoming fourth quarter. Here's Capelletti. Able to weave his way through and lays it in right before the buzzer. So he makes up for his previous mistake, gets the lay-in, breaks down the defense by himself with the dribble, and gives Bologna the 2-point lead at the end of the third quarter. So with 10 minutes left, 53-51 for Bologna. If you take a look at the stats, the three-pointer starting to fall in that quarter for both sides. The shooting has picked up. Both teams now shooting just above 41%. The numbers are very close. Both teams 41% from the field overall. They also have both knocked down 4 3-pointers. And only 2 free throws separate them. Let's take a look at the third quarter highlights. A quarter that Bayreuth won 20-19. There was some sloppy play. Both teams now with 9 turnovers in the game. Hassan Martin, who has been a beast on the boards, now has 5 offensive rebounds, 10 points. No free throws, though, from Hassan Martin, despite his aggressive play. Meanwhile, Dejan Kravic also with 5 offensive rebounds. So Adonis Thomas, who got his first 2 points of the game in that third quarter. Again, he comes in averaging 13 points per game, shooting 11 shots per game. By all accounts, has been their go-to scorer. Also plays the most minutes, but he's been very quiet here tonight. Meanwhile, Cassius Robertson has been a nice contributor off the bench. See him there getting ready to inbound the ball. Robertson with 7 points on 3 of 6 shooting. Meanwhile, Gregor Horvat, 0 of 6, just 2 points from the foul line. It's been a struggle for him and Thomas thus far. On the first possession, Meisner looking to get the ball inside to Seifert. Hands it off to Dorit, and off his knee. So great defense that time from Cappelletti. And Baldy Rossi getting a nice ovation from the fans. Again, his 2 big threes, as well as that reverse layup, giving him 8 points in that third quarter. Here's Mbaye, whose name we haven't called too much in the second half, coming off the bench. Cornu, Mbaye at the heart of that zone defense, pulls up from the elbow, can't finish it. Horvat, can he get it going? Oh, nice poke away. 4 on 2 now. Cappelletti hands over to Cornu. His layup can't finish it. And Meisner thought about the long outlet, decides to just give it over to Horvat. Robertson. It's pressured back to half court. Shot clock down to 3. Meisner for 3. It's good. Bayreuth back in the lead off the Meisner 3. His second consecutive 3 here in the second half. And again, both teams doing a really good job of pressuring the offense far from the basket as Bayreuth retreats back into his zone. Kelvin Martin looks to attack, gets it to the lane and lays it in with the right hand. Strong finish that time from Martin. And the lead goes back over to Bologna. So back and forth we go, this heavyweight matchup in Group D. Despite the 0-3 record, Bayreuth able to go back and forth, and once again, Cassius Robertson knocks down the step back 3. And the last 4 possessions, we've seen the lead exchange numerous times as a foul is called there on Horvat. Late whistle. So Bayreuth back up 2, thanks to the Robertson 3. Meanwhile, we see Cappelletti, who was fortunate to not turn the ball over there as Horvat had the breakaway. So Tony Taylor back in the backcourt alongside Cornu. And they're joined in the front court by Martin, Mbaye, and Kravic. See Kravic on that baseline as Taylor pulls up from the elbow and knocks down the 2 to tie it back up. So Tony Taylor has played a great game so far. He's got 11 points. Horvat leaves his feet. Robertson, can he make it 2 in a row? No good this time. Good tip in. Oh, the nice feed inside. And Meisner with the quick finish. So already 8 points in the first few minutes here for Bayreuth, as their bench has been very productive. They've now gotten 32 points from their bench. Meanwhile, shot clock down to 3. The runner, Cornu, no good. Meisner, another rebound. And now Bayreuth a chance to make this a 2-possession game and extend the lead. Robertson. Oh, the tough pass goes through the legs of Seifert. Here's Martin. Nice take to the cut. And Martin once again finishing with that offhand. So Kelvin Martin providing the energy off the bench yet again, as his role has dictated. Kevin Punter getting ready to come in. You see him there at the scores table. Meanwhile, Horvat, again, can't get his first field goal. Mbaye the rebound. And he goes right as Seifert drawing the foul. Second team foul of the quarter. And Seifert will come out of the game. So Mbaye, who's so far 6 points on 2 of 6 shooting. Another look at that Martin drive. See his eyes light up. He found the side of the rim. So Punter and Taylor back in the backcourt. Taylor over to Martin, catch and shoot. 3 is good for Kelvin Martin. And he has been a difference maker in this fourth quarter. 7 points in a row, 11 in the game. And he gives Bologna a 3-point lead. So Bayreuth just unable to create any separation. Oh, nice pass. Tough shot, though, there for Meisner. Tony Taylor over to Mbaye, turns the corner. Should have been a goaltending with Kravic, able to throw down the putback. And he's demanding that this crowd gets off their feet, or on their feet, I should say, as he gets not only his 6th offensive rebound of the game, but also his 10th point. He's approaching a double-double. Mbaye was able to get around the defense. Hassan Martin came to help. Kravic gets the straight line drive, offensive rebound, and then throws it down with one hand. Let's go, he demands. So 5-point lead now, just about 5 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. See the bench points again. Bayreuth has gotten a lot of contributions from their bench. So David Stockton back in, matched up against Tony Taylor after their aggressive third quarter, we'll say. Meanwhile, Horvat still being trusted, and it's going to be an illegal screen set. Hassan Martin looking to create separation for Robertson, picks up the offensive foul. And it's going to be another offensive foul, this time Kelvin Martin, as he made some contact, I believe, with the elbow. Horvat's face, you see the good sportsmanship there from Martin. And, yeah, inadvertent elbow. Horvat did a good job defensively of crowding the space. And as Martin extended to make the pass, his elbow connected with the chin. Nothing malicious about that play from Martin, but he does pick up his 3rd foul. So again, Bologna with the 5-point lead. We're under 5 minutes to go now in the fourth quarter here in this Group D matchup of the undefeated team against a winless team. But you wouldn't know who was who by the way this game was played. It's been tight throughout. Bayreuth looking to make it a one-possession game. Hassan Martin has been quiet in the second half. Kelvin Martin, great defense. And it's going to be a shot clock violation as the buzzer expires. Kelvin Martin was everywhere on that possession defensively. You see him guarding Horvat there, then on the switch as Stockton loses his footing. So punter over to Taylor. And this could be the first game that Kevin Punter doesn't score 18 points. Taylor now gets into the lane, draws a foul, the 4th team foul. And that's going to be the 5th personal on David Stockton. So he is now fouled out of the game. So David Stockton will exit this game with 7 points. And only 1 assist for Stockton, which you can see him jawing to the referee. So here's Taylor looking to create. Takes a long 3, no good. Long rebound, sails out of bounds. And a chance now, once again, for Bayreuth to inch closer, make this a 1-possession game. Damon Brooks, he's back in alongside Dorrit, Horvat, Martin, and Robertson. So no Adonis Thomas down the stretch for Bayreuth. Horvat, he'll take a long 2, too strong, and the ball ends up with Martin. So another rebound for Martin. He's now got 6 rebounds on the game, so active defensively. Meanwhile, it's Taylor again. He'll take another tough shot at the elbow, and this time it drops for him. So Tony Taylor, very aggressive. Here's Horvat. Oh, fake the handoff. Damon Brooks in the lane, and he'll head to the free throw line. So Kravic took the brunt of that contact. You see the nice fake handoff from Brooks. Recognizes the help man coming, goes right at him. And Damon Brooks, who's 2 of 3 from the free throw line so far, will look to cut into the deficit. And Brooks, his 3 free throws tonight were actually the first 3 free throws he's taken in the BCL season so far. He knocks down another one here. One more free throw to come for Brooks. He goes 2 for 2, 61-66. Bologna still with a 5-point lead. As we approach the 3-minute mark, Taylor leaves his feet, and Bai almost lost it as well. Still plenty of time for Bayreuth. You take a look at the free throw numbers there. Both teams shooting pretty well. Punter's open on the wing. He's got to put it up. The long contested 3, banks it in. Kevin Punter, the desperation heat as the buzzer is about to expire on the shot clock. And 13 points now for Punter. Was that the backbreaker? As Mbai picks up a foul. We'll take another look at this Punter 3, sorry. Damon Brooks all over him. Can't do much better defensively. But the bank is open late at night here in Bologna. So Brooks will head back to the free throw line. Able to potentially get points on the board while the clock is stopped. He makes his first free throw. And 1 for 2 on this trip for Brooks. So now the lead is 7 for Bologna. They have the ball and time on their side. And we're going to have a foul on Robertson, which will send Taylor to the free throw line. So you see there the region. So Tony Taylor with a chance to add to the 7-point lead here for Bologna. Knocks down the first. 2 for 2 here tonight. And these were also Taylor's first free throw, of the young season. Hadn't had any trips in the first 3 games, but he goes 3 for 3 so far here tonight. And a quick pass up ahead as Robertson finishes through contact. Quick 2 for Bayreuth. Under 2 minutes to go now in the fourth. 7-point game. Bayreuth needs a stop on this possession. Mbai over to Taylor. He's been aggressive. Can't hit that one. And the long rebound ends up with Mbai. Puts his head down, gets it to the lane. Can't finish the quick 2. Dorrit the rebound. Bayreuth has to push it. Here's Robertson. Gets into the baseline. Oh, nice pass. And a foul on Martin. Seems like most people in the arena thought that the strip was clean. But let's talk about that pass from Robertson. Sees the help side coming. See right there, the nice dump-off pass. And Martin seems to have got a little bit of the arm. Meanwhile, Brooks missing another free throw. So he's left 2 points at the line here in the last minute. But he knocks down the second to make this a 2-possession game. 71-65. Still plenty of time for Bayreuth to get back into the game. Bologna contented to use up some clock. Punter wants the ball. Nice feed. Oh, what a challenge, Hassan Martin. And the shot clock will expire. So that was the stop that Bayreuth needed, as Hassan Martin with the aggressive contest there to get the shot block. Timeout on the floor, and Bologna calls a timeout. They want to set up their defense. So again, 71-65, 47 seconds left here in the game. Bologna looking to stay undefeated. You see the rebounding numbers, just like everything else here tonight. They've been tight. Bologna with 5 more offensive rebounds. But both teams shooting 42%. Both teams knocking down 6 3-pointers. And Bologna, who came into this game as one of the teams with a huge advantage with the points off turnovers, came in averaging 20 points per game off turnovers, which was the most amongst all teams in the Basketball Champions League, while these fans are rocking the house. But so far, just 11 points off turnovers for Bologna. Meanwhile, Bayreuth came in having conceded only 23 points in the paint per game, which was the best defensive mark amongst all of the teams. So defensively, we can definitely say that Bayreuth has done a good job to slow down this offensive juggernaut. They've only allowed 28 points in the paint to Bologna. You see Kelvin Martin, who's really been a very important player off the bench for Bologna. So Bayreuth with the ball, down 6. Will they play the 3 or go for the quick 2? Remains to be seen on this possession. Adonis Thomas back in the game alongside Damon Brooks, Cassius Robertson, Horvat. And fans not too happy as the referees head back to the table to get the clock situation right. Right now, the game clock showing 54 seconds. So there will be 53 seconds. Bologna in the man-to-man defensive set. Horvat turns the corner, easy too. So they get the quick two that he needed. 4-point game. They're gonna play it straight up, it seems, no foul. And the backcourt pressure. Bologna, a chance to extend the lead back up to 6 or 7 on this possession. Bayreuth in a zone. Someone will be open. Martin, shot clock at 2. What a block from Brooks. Oh no, that's Hassan Martin, swats it away again. So the Martin on Martin crime for the second time as the shot clock shows 1 second left. So if you're Bayreuth, you can't foul here. Bologna has 1 second to get a shot off. And it's gonna go to Mbai, catch and shoot 3. Big shot. Mbai, the potential dagger as he knocks down the 3. Here's Horvat. Over to Brooks. Robertson. He'll take a long 3. Can't hit it. Brooks with the offensive rebound. Tip it from Martin, no good. And Bologna will stay perfect in this BCL season so far. 74-67. Bologna gets the victory over medi Bayreuth. Phenomenal, great game here in Bologna, Italy, as the home side able to come away with a 7-point victory. Coach Sacripanti has to be happy with his team's performance in a tight game. They weren't challenged in the first 3 games, really. But the German team from Bayreuth really played a really good game, especially defensively. You see Coach Corner there talking to Kevin Punter. So it's been a tough start here in Group D for Bayreuth as they drop to 0 wins and 4 losses. Meanwhile, Segafredo Virtus Bologna moved to 4-0 and will remain at the top of Group D. You see the numbers. The 3-pointers really picked up there for Bologna in the second half. They hit 6 second-half threes. Also, despite the impressive assist numbers for Bayreuth, they lose by 7. Bologna wins the turnover battle. And the leading scorers, Kevin Punter with 13, still in the double digits yet again. Meanwhile, Cassius Robertson with 12 off the bench. You see the other contributors defensively. Kravic, 3 steals. The big man really doing a great job on his help side defense. Meanwhile, a few players in double figures for both sides. So these home fans who have really made a lot of noise here in the Baladosa. And Mbai, who hit that big corner 3 with 1 second left on the shot clock, which was the final basket of the game. So Mbai finishes the game with 9 points. Meanwhile, 4 players in double figures for Bologna, led in scoring by Kevin Punter to 13 points. Kelvin Martin, 11 points and 8 rebounds. Also made a number of hustle plays. Tony Taylor shares the scoring lead with Punter with 13 points himself. He also had 5 rebounds and 4 assists. And finally, Dejan Kravic with 10 points and 10 rebounds for his first double-double of the BCL season. So we'll take some of the highlights of the game. Mbai got things going offensively and defensively. Meanwhile, for Bayreuth, they were led in scoring by Cassius Robertson with 12 points. Hassan Martin doing more damage in the first half than the second. He finishes with 10 points and 8 rebounds. Meanwhile, Damon Brooks with 10 points and 5 rebounds himself. Also had 2 steals. went 6 of 9 from the free throw line. And off the bench, Andreas Seifert with 11 points and 5 rebounds. So it was a very interesting game, close throughout. Bologna, who was able to build up large leads early on in their first 3 games, only had the largest lead, just 9 here tonight. Did not have a double-digit lead at any point of the game. Also only had 11 points off turnovers and only 13 second chance points. Meanwhile, the positives that Bayreuth can take away from this game: they held a strong offensive team to 74 points. They outscored their opponent by 8 in the paint, and they also got 34 points off the bench, so over half their points coming from guys off the bench. So next week, medi Bayreuth will head back to Germany and look for their first victory against Filou Ostend. Filou Ostend, of course, in action here tonight, as they are currently down 6 at home against Petro Olympia. So it looks like Petro Olympia will get a chance to pick up their first victory if they can maintain that advantage. Meanwhile, Bologna will look to stay perfect as they head over to Istanbul, and will be one of the premier matchups of game day 5 against Besiktas. Bologna doing, once again, a good job of maintaining its reputation as one of the top teams in the competition. Some people have them ranked in the top 5. But we'll be back next week as we take a look at the standings here in Group D. Bologna at the top with 8 points on 4 victories. Strasbourg and Prometheus Patras will be in action tomorrow night. Meanwhile, thank you so much for tuning in once again for another Basketball Champions League matchup. We'll catch you tomorrow. Take care. Good night.